Live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Devil Experience match recap. Manchester United 0, Liverpool 3, in what is an absolutely embarrassing disaster defeat, disaster performance. Shocking at times, shocking, maybe not so much at times. Um, absolutely, just absolute failure in what is supposed to be a derby. We didn't even show up today. We didn't even show up today. Lionhearts, I see you in here. Good to see you back. I wish you came back on better terms on a better occasion, but I don't even know what to really make of that match. I probably will find the words for it in a little bit, but I'm still a little bit all over the place because there's so much shit that happened into this match that I don't even know where to really start. I might start all over the place, but we'll get there. Manchester United, from the very beginning of the match, we couldn't meet Liverpool's pace. We couldn't meet their enthusiasm to win the match, their drive. They were faster than us. They were more organized than us. They were hungrier than us. It was a real worry from the beginning of the game. We never got up to their pace. We were sloppy on the ball. Too many mistakes. CASEMIRO was an absolute disaster. I don't even know what to make of his performance. How you can be an experienced player such as CASEMIRO and play in the manner that he played and made the mistakes in the manner that he made. I am baffled. I am baffled how a team, how a group of professional footballers can show up to a match in their home stadium and play the way they have played today. It was disgraceful. The performance and the result is an absolute sackable offense. As a Manchester United manager, you cannot suffer a result and have a performance in the way that we did. I'm not saying Ten Hag out because it is the third match of the season, but absolutely, you have this result, you have this performance somewhere around November, December after a bad run of games, not good in the table. 100%, it is a sackable offense. Absolutely disgraceful from Manchester United. Erik Ten Hag got it wrong, absolutely 100% wrong. The game plan was wrong, the tactics were wrong. He got outclassed, he got outsmarted. Arne Slot came with a absolute, masterclass of a game plan and ripped us apart and destroyed us and embarrassed us. And we're gonna have to take this on the chin. Like men. Unfortunately, I think the fans are probably going to do more of an effort to take this than our players and what our manager set us up in today. He got it absolutely wrong. And, right now I'm a little bit lost for words because it's the same old shit. Today's performance, see, the first two matches, I said I seen a little bit of improvement in terms of a little bit of how we played, but today was a wake-up call. Got rid of the fairy dust from the transfer market and the signings and the hype. It's brought us back down to earth. We were way off the pace. We were nowhere near Liverpool. And it brought me back a little bit to reality because, you know what? You play a Fulham, you play a Brighton. They're not a Liverpool. They're not a Manchester City. They're not an Arsenal. And it just shows the flaws, the gaps, and the gap in how far behind we actually are. Because the Fulham performance wasn't great, but we got the win. The Brighton performance, there was periods where we did okay. There was periods where we were not okay. We ended up losing that match. And this Liverpool, Liverpool came. We were sloppy, like how we were in the first two matches. We made mistakes, like how we were in the first two matches. And when you come against the Liverpool and you do those same mistakes, how we did in the first two matches, we get absolutely punished. Liverpool were clinical. All three of their goals, absolutely clinical. The two Luis Diaz goals, that's clinicalness. We're still missing that clinicalness. I don't know if we're going to find it. If we don't find it, Erik Ten Hag's in trouble and Manchester United is in big, big trouble. Xerxes had two big chances. Had to put one away at least. Manchester United striker, I know the match wasn't going our way. I know we weren't at our best, but you get two of those opportunities. Minimum, at least one of them has to find the back of the net. And none of them found the back of the net, which is a huge, huge problem because we could have pulled one back when it was 2-0. And it could have maybe been a different game. Maybe could have turned the tide a little bit, the momentum. But you go 3-0 down. I mean, it was over. So let me get to the comments because I see you guys are going off here. So I want to get you guys involved. Gives me a chance to collect my head a little bit here because I literally am all over the place. So Lines is in here. Lines hasn't been here in a while, so Lines, good to see you, buddy. I wish you were back here on more positive terms, but it's good to have you back. We missed the input. Lines saying selling Scott meant we had no one on the bench that could have an impact. That is true. I'm going to actually get into that midfield because that midfield for me was an absolute disaster. It was one of the major reasons why we lost and why we got completely dismantled, completely embarrassed. That midfield was just absolutely atrocious. It was lost. Ray saying it was more than a disaster. Yeah. I mean, it was the first word that came to my head. Axe saying the first 20 minutes we were more than decent. We're more than decent for United. At some point I saw him breathing so deeply through his diaphragm. I told myself he was done physically. He proved me right. I think you're talking about Casemiro, yeah? Lyle saying Ugarte will bring intensity to the midfield and Case will be better coming off the bench to a tired midfield. Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. Axe is saying, let's not jump on the manager out trend. I'm not saying Erik Ten Hag. I see lots of United fans already jumping on the Erik Ten Hag thing. It's too early in the season. There's too many games to be played. You cannot do it. I understand, everybody's upset because it's Liverpool. We got embarrassed and we lost 3-0 at home. So I get that point. But it's too early for that. It's too early for that. My point being, this result and this performance is 100% a sackable offense. But it's for him probably lucky enough. It's too early in the season. If it's November, December, we're in 7th place in the league. Europa League's looking kind of tough. If we're not performing well, if the results haven't been performed well, and you have this type of result, you're definitely looking at getting sacked. That's what I'm saying. But as of right now, I am not saying Erik Ten Hag out. It's too early. It's too early, and there's too many things that can happen. But it has definitely not put him in a good position. And it's not a good look, and the pressure is definitely way more on. He did not need this. We didn't need this. And we're gonna have to. He's gonna have to sort some shit out. It's Erik Ten Hag has a lot of things to sort out. If he's gonna want to keep his job, because the trajectory that we're on in the first 3 matches is not good. It is not good. There's a lot of problems still in that team, and there's a lot of things that still need to be sorted out, and he better figure this shit out quickly because these matches are coming heavy and quick. We're going to be playing 3 matches a week soon, and we have a lot of issues. We have issues with players. We have issues with the style of the team, the formation of the team, so the organization of the team. So it's just not good. It's not good. On because I'm losing you guys here. Rajat saying Mano is overrated, man. I mean, Mano had a tough game, but he's not being helped by who's with him in the midfield. But he did struggle. Everybody struggled. Nobody really played good. We're gonna do the player ratings. Smash the like button for me if you can, guys, real quick. Greatly appreciate it. Let's get some positive vibes there, at least with the likes. Let's get some likes on the video. Axe saying, you said 2-1 last stream. I told myself I hope he means we will only lose 2-1. Well, I thought we would come out there with a little bit of fight, but it wasn't there. I mean, if they did have it, it didn't show because Liverpool's was that much greater. It made ours look non-existent. And I was kind of hoping that we're home, and maybe we can just up it a little bit. I mean, the intensity and everything that we were doing in the first two matches, and it's a derby, so anything can happen. But I was wrong because we've been humbled. We've been humbled back to reality that we are nowhere near um the top teams. We are nowhere near. We are miles off of it, unfortunately. And part of this problem is that you know Arnie Slot is a good manager, tactically, intelligently, and he's come into a Liverpool team that has been performing well for numerous amount of years. And he hasn't had much to do in terms of transforming the team. I think they've gotten maybe an identical replacement in terms of philosophy and identity. They pressed very, very well. They were organized very, very well. Miles better than what we could do. And I think it showed the class in golf showed. So I thought maybe we had something there, but just we were so nervous. We were nervous. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to handle their intensity of the press. And it's a different animal. It's a different machine when you are playing a team like maybe a Fulham or Brighton and they try to press you compared to Liverpool, who have perfected this over the past 6 years. They are one of the best pressing teams, in my opinion, alongside Manchester City and probably Arsenal as well. And it just shows how far we really are off of this. I mean, it's actually just crazy. It is crazy, and I don't know how we're gonna get to that point. I don't know how we get there because this is 3 seasons in for Erik Ten Hag, um, and 1 or 2 seasons, I say he needs more time. But by the third season, if you can't get this team to be organized correctly and press correctly and make the correct decisions, I don't know where you really go from there. I mean, if you don't figure it out by now, you're never really gonna figure it out. Um, and I don't know what you do with that because we've changed quite some players, and we need more changes. But unfortunately, the window's closed, and we're gonna have to deal with what we got. So we're gonna have to figure something out. If we can't play the way he wants, he's gonna have to figure out a way that suits this team, that gets results and puts in good performances. And we've seen him try to do that, and it didn't go well last season. So there's a lot of problems, and it's just not looking good. Ray's saying we're going backwards than forwards. I mean, yeah, right now we are going backwards. And that's what I'm saying. We need to figure out he's got a lot of work to do. This club has a lot of work to do. This team has a lot of shit that we need to sort out. Rajat say, Axe saying you got your Delit Martinez pair from the start. They needed time to fusion. Well, I think they didn't do that bad. I think the main more pressing issue was Casemiro. First of all, had an absolute disaster class. Was directly responsible for 2 of the 3 goals, and the midfield and the game plan was a disaster. I mean, I think Delit at moments early in the first half of the game, Delit probably saved or stopped Liverpool from scoring another 2 or 3 goals just by himself, just by the interceptions he made. Now, he wasn't perfect. He did make a couple, mistakes with the passes, bad passes. But I think they were all right. Martinez was poor for Martinez standards. But the team just looked dysfunctional. I mean, we didn't know what to do when we had the ball. There was times when Martinez, Delit, Mazawari, they're getting the ball, they're looking up, they don't see a United player as an option, and they're getting pressed by 3 or 4 Liverpool players. And it's just panic mode. I mean, turning around to pass the ball backwards because there's no option in front of you, and you're getting pressed, and you know you're in trouble. And you're like an ostrich. You're like an ostrich. You just panic, turn around, and start running away. So it was just a complete disaster all over from multiple different angles. Like, there's nothing to really pin on just one person or one thing. But I mean, Marcus Rashford for me was not good enough. I think he did two good crosses into the box. I would like to see him do more of that. There was periods in the game where I don't understand why, but he has the ball in his feet. I guess he makes the decision that he's not going to win if he runs it down the line, and for whatever reason, he just decides that he's not going to do anything with it, and he passes it five yards next to him, or he turns around and starts running backwards. I don't know. There's a lot of just disaster going on. Rajat saying no. Casemiro got to go. Delit 5. Do not go. Not no to calling the manager's job taken away. Ali for caretaker. Lyle saying it's only the first 3 games. Brighton away and Liverpool proved to be very difficult for us. Luckily, we have a break, and Erik Ten Hag needs to work on the negatives, man. Well, the problem with that is they actually asked him, Lyle. They asked Erik Ten Hag. About, how is he going to change things or fix things, and he said he can't because until the players come back from international. So basically, we're just going to be doing fuck all until the players come back from the international. And at this standpoint, if I'm in charge, I'm not letting any of them go on fucking international break. Absolutely no way. I would tell all of their international teams to go fuck themselves because we have shit to sort. Absolutely not. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. I know it's only 3 games in, and we have Ten Hag has work to do, but these matches are coming quick and fast. This is a problem that should already be sorted by the time the season starts. We're in trouble mode already. This is troubling. This is troubling because we have to find our feet. And if we don't find our feet, we're going to find ourselves in a very bad position the first 10 matches into the season. Axe saying comparison with Liverpool is unjust at this point. They were a top UCL team before the summer. United changed almost all the coaches and brought a lot of the new players, plus being unable to solve the CDM. I get what you're saying, Axe, and it's a good point. The problem is the optics of this. It's Erik Ten Hag's 3rd season. And we made a lot of changes in the the backroom staff, and even a couple of the players. Ugarte obviously not available. Boy, we could have used him today. I mean, this is what I was saying. I wanted Ugarte involved somehow in the squad. I mean, I would have loved him. We could have used him at halftime. I mean, we could have used him in the first 20 minutes of the match as a substitute. Unfortunately, we didn't sign him in time. He wasn't available, so we hurt ourselves there because Scott McTominay was gone, and he's not an option, and there was only Toby Collier on the bench, who obviously is not ready. He's not that ready, and in a match like that against a team like Liverpool, it was always going to be difficult for him to come and make an impact. It was a big ask. But at that point, what are you going to do? I mean, Casemiro was playing absolutely garbage. He played worse than Collier. Collier was off the pace of it, but he tried. He did 1 or 2 good things, but he struggled as well. And this is why I was saying I did say this midfield worries me. The midfield worries me because I don't think we have enough options in the midfield, and I don't think we have very good options in the midfield. I mean, we have Christian Eriksen there. He's not going to help us in the situation that we're in. Kobe Mainoo is doing 2 jobs. A 19-year-old is doing 2 jobs of and he's one man. He's one kid. It's just a disaster all over the place. Ray saying, when are we going to start playing positive football going forward, then backwards? We play backwards more than forward. Yes, I mean, I get that, but the problem is it's just the game plan. It's the game plan. It's the players on the pitch making the decisions. Like as I said, I mean, there was times where Manchester United player has the ball, the player's looking up, and there's no options in front of him. Like the setup was wrong. the players on the pitch aren't doing their job correctly, and this is the same story from last season. So, Ten Hag has to get criticism for that because this shit has to be sorted. We seen it all of last season. And today they showed it again. Today was a performance like last season. And in fact, it was worse than last season because when we played Liverpool last season, we didn't lose. We didn't lose a match against Liverpool. And today we got absolutely destroyed. We got destroyed. So I just lost like half the chat. Lyle saying Liverpool today looked exactly like they've looked for many seasons. That's the goal right there. Had we established a model with Fergie, geez, you can imagine. Well, that's one of the things that Arne Slot has the benefit of that Ten Hag and other managers have not. I mean, Liverpool have, they set themselves up with Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp took the hit in the first couple seasons where it was not great. Richard's in here. Richard, it's glad to see you back. I'm happy to see you back. I think were you at the match? Oh, you were supposed to be at Old Trafford, but maybe unfortunately I have COVID. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but you know what? COVID probably did you a favor, Richard, because I was actually thinking about that you went there to go see this disaster. So COVID probably did you a favor, to be honest, and maybe you can go to another match. I know you probably you lost the money on it, but it is what it is. Grace is in here. Grace, good to see you. What was I saying? Because I lost my spot because the chat's moving very, very fast today, which I'm glad you guys are getting involved. But yeah, keep it coming. Oh yes, it was Lyle's point where Liverpool has established their game model and slotted right in because he has a similar style to Klopp. Hence why he's such a good start. We're still figuring things out, and this is one of the problems. I mean, we've been suffering from a decision that was made when Sir Alex Ferguson retired, and we ripped everything up, and we decided that we were gonna do this completely fresh start, instead of trying to continue, a little bit and just improve. And it's been an absolute disaster. And I don't know where you actually start with the foundation because Erik Ten Hag is trying, but it's not really it's not really working. It's been a struggle and it hasn't been great. And somewhere we need to start. So I don't know, if it's gonna be with Erik Ten Hag. I hope it's with Erik Ten Hag because I don't need to go through another 2-3 seasons of trying to get something established. But absolutely, I mean, Arne Slot has a way easier job than Erik Ten Hag and every other manager that's come before Erik Ten Hag. Way easier because every person before Ten Hag and even Ten Hag's first season was all operated on the Glazers, so it was all disaster. But at some point, now we're moving forward. This has to be sorted out. It has to be sorted out. Lion saying, look, I get all the data on Ugarte, but the kid is completely unproven in the EPL. I don't know why Erik didn't look in our league for players. Well, it's not just on Erik Ten Hag anymore. We have a committee. The committee can overrule him. I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, he doesn't have the final say on things anymore. He does have a say. He does have some power, some influence, but there is a committee going on. So it's not just on Erik Ten Hag. Everybody else involved, Jason Wilcox and etc. They're here as well. They need to identify and bring in these players. Maybe it was too expensive, Lion. Maybe it was too expensive, but we did spend 60 million. I think Ugarte will be good. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is maybe when we play teams that have a little bit of height because he's not great in the aerial duels as a CDM, because he is small. But I think in terms of running around, tackling, even playing forward, I think he'll be able to do the job. I'm not too worried about him. What I'm worried about is the depth, the lack of depth that we have in the midfield, and the people that are going to provide us something when shit like today happens. CASEMIRO was absolutely awful. We needed somebody to come in. We had nobody to come in. We had a kid who is not ready for this type of match, especially with the team performing the way they were performing and struggling. I felt bad for Collier coming in because he did struggle as well. But this is what I'm saying. This midfield, the midfield depth that we have is not good enough. I think INEOS and Erik Ten Hag, included in that, have made a mistake by not getting in somebody else, another midfielder, an experienced player, whether it would be on a free or on a loan. I think they've made a mistake because I think we are short in the midfield. I think we are absolutely short in the midfield. Amrabat was part of the team. He was supposed to be, I guess, a replacement for Fred. Amrabat has gone, so we're down that one player. Now you could say we got Ugarte, but we lost Scott McTominay, so we're down. We're still down a player. I don't see what we did in the midfield. I think we needed another midfield player. Christian Eriksen isn't going to provide anything for us. Mason Mount's not reliable because he's injury prone as of right now. He keeps getting injured and he keeps missing matches. And he's not really the profile of player that we need in that area anyway. We need somebody that's another box to box, really. So, it's just it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Axelord saying Erik Ten Hag style won't work until we have a mobile CDM who can cover large spaces. End the discussion. Slow CDM equals no progress. I think that's a very good point. And I think Ugarte can fit in that space in terms of mobility. I think he can do it. So I'm catching up on the chat. And then we'll do player ratings. Oh my god. Ray saying was hard to watch. Shit and more shit that when protect English players in the league. Well, I'm gonna get on to that selection when we do the player ratings and all that stuff. I said SK is here. SK, good to hear from you. SK saying I said from day one Erik Ten Hag is not the man for United. He's tactically not good enough. Tuchel must come in. Yeah. I mean, I'm hearing you. But again, I'm gonna stick with the guy for now. So, Richard saying I read that out. SK saying Ugarte had no preseason. Don't expect him to play anytime soon. I mean, that's another thing I don't understand why any of our players. I mean, that's 2 players that we signed that were not involved in preseason at all, and we took quite a little long to get them both in. And Ugarte, we took really long, and probably because of financial reasons, Ugarte took so long. But, I don't understand that either. I mean, we're the ones suffering. The other teams are fine. They got their players in. They're getting involved. And we're desperate for players, and we can't even get them involved because they weren't involved in preseason. So, I don't understand that aspect either. Axe saying you say it's his 3rd season, but the CDM problem has been unsolved for so long. No, Axe. I know. I'm saying in terms of optics. Like, everybody's looking at it like this is Ten Hag 3rd season, regardless of like, oh, the CDM position is a problem. They're gonna be looking at it and then they'll be like, why is the style not good enough? Why is the system not good enough? You've had 3 seasons to get this. The problem is and what I was trying to say was the problem is this is actually the first season where the club operated properly in terms of getting in personnel, getting in proper coaches, and having a CEO and a director of football and a technical director, and identifying players with the correct personality and ability and all that. This is the first season. The problem is for Erik Ten Hag because it's his 3rd season, and people are going to keep bringing that up because he's 3 seasons in. It would be a different story if we did all of this behind the scenes stuff from the hierarchy and all that with the backroom coaching staff and all that, and we just bring Erik Ten Hag in now. If we bring Erik Ten Hag in now and we had these problems, it would be a different story. But the fact that he's been here for 3 seasons, nobody is going to give him the time and be like, let's just erase the first 2 seasons. This is the first season under the proper structure, and we just restart. The problem is for Erik Ten Hag. So, what else you guys saying? If I missed something, I'm sorry. Rajat saying get Stotch from Germany as another CM. Think he is from 1898 Hoffenheim. Well, I think the only thing we could do is sign somebody that's a free agent. Which I don't think is even gonna happen. But at this point, I had my ifs, ands, or buts, and maybes about Rabiot. But I would sign fucking Rabiot tonight. By tonight, I would get him on a contract. Because I think we need it. I think we need it. Um, I don't think he's signed for any team as far as I'm aware. I don't know. Um, who played CDM for Ajax 18-19 team? Frankie, no. Rajat Rajat saying Ugarte is going to take time to get used to England. Maybe shown. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Richard saying, yeah, that match was a hard watch. However, I watched the full 1 hour Delit interview afterwards, and he really wants to be here. No, he really wants to be here, and I think he played pretty good. Um, I think he played pretty good in terms of starting this match. No, I don't think Van de Beek was the CDM. Grace saying, so what's the solution? Back three, flat three in the midfield rather than two, Rabiot and Depay. The solution, Grace, I don't know. I wish I had the actual answer because it is too much of a mess right now. There's too many things. So I guess the solution is to start one by one. I guess the solution is to start one by one right now. We have to figure things out. I mean, we cannot be that sloppy on the ball. We were absolutely sloppy. Decision making was poor. Structure was poor. Uh, I mean, there's just so many things. There's so many things. And I think, Erik Ten Hag, unfortunately, set up the team wrong today. I think he got the tactics wrong. I mean, I don't think he got the tactics wrong. He got the tactics wrong. I think, he tried to play toe to toe. He tried to play high and risky in a certain way, and we got punished for it because we're not ready to play at that level that Liverpool is. Liverpool's been doing this. This is their style. This is they are set to go in that manner. They don't, it's like drinking water for them. It's easy. For us, it's not. We're still trying to figure it out. And we go into a match like this, which is a huge match, and we basically were out there with like two hands tied behind our back. I think if Erik Ten Hag set us up to play the way we played Manchester City in the FA Cup final against Liverpool, I don't think we see the performance that we had today. I think the problem is that, we're not ready to play at that level against Liverpool in the way that he was trying to play. Our right backs and left backs were so far up the pitch, and we're making a fucking mistake in the back. As soon as we get the ball, we're giving it straight back to Liverpool, and they're at our box with four players, and it's a 2v4, 3v5. And that's how we conceded two of the goals. So, Axe saying the solution is a quick CDM who can cover a lot of space, do simple passes, and run to play with Manu, and also have the lungs to come back. I mean, that is a big, big part. I mean, Casemiro's moving up way too forward because we're trying to push very, very high. He's making a mistake losing the ball as somebody's losing the ball in a space that you cannot lose the ball. A big part of the problem is we're trying to play in a certain way, but we're losing the ball in areas you cannot lose the ball. When you play in the way we're trying to play, with basically two fucking center backs, our left back and our right back are inverted. They're basically coming center mids. You cannot lose the ball in the areas that we lost the ball because you get punished and you get absolutely cut open. But that is a problem the team has to. They need to know this already. They need to not be making this mistakes as a team. Anybody that gets on the ball cannot be doing that. You cannot be losing the ball in the positions we are losing the ball, which is why we conceded those two goals. But another one, yes, the center mid needs to be mobile. Casemiro has no legs. Casemiro was absolutely awful. It was a fucking disaster. It was amateur from a experienced player. Richard saying, I like Ten Hag, but I know he has won his trophies. However, I've seen a lot of last year's problems reemerging today. And that's the point I'm trying to get on, Richard. That's the point that I'm trying to get on. The point I'm trying to get on is some of these issues have been here since he came in, and these issues cannot continue. He needs to figure out, and he hasn't figured it out by yet. And that is a problem. It is a huge fucking problem. Because if he hasn't figured out those issues by now, listen, there's always going to be issues. There's always problems. But there's certain issues and problems. Discipline in formation and just the way you set up decisions being made on the pitch by the players. We've seen this for 2 seasons already. They should not be doing these things anymore. And they still are. So I don't know if he doesn't know how to solve it. I don't know if he can't solve it because, again, maybe we just don't have enough of the players that we need. I don't know if it's a communication thing where he's not getting the message and the idea across to the players and the players are not buying into it. I don't know if it's all of them. Maybe it's all of it. But it is a problem. It is a problem. Gray's saying, look at Madrid. They lost Benzema, went to a 4-4-2 diamond with 2 wingers as a wide forwards and a flat midfield, 3, and look what happened. Tell Bruno to drop deeper into midfield. Well, I think, Grace, I think it's a good point, but this is what I'm saying. He's still trying to play in the way that he wants to play, and we clearly cannot do it. We cannot do it. I don't know why we can't do it, but the players can't do it. He's not getting the message across to them or how to do it properly. The execution is not good. The execution is piss poor. So if they can't execute this, then it's basically pointless unless he changes the way we go about how we play, like how you're saying. But some of the tactics would then have to change. I mean, if the midfield is going to be that open and that disorganized, Bruno Fernandes cannot be fucking roaming around in front of Joshua Zirkzee. He cannot be ahead of the striker. But that's on the manager because, yeah, Bruno's running around doing his thing, but he's also just doing the instructions. I mean, his instruction is to initiate the press. He's the one that's initiating the press. I disagree with that tactic, but apparently Zirkzee is not as good as Bruno initiating the press. So Bruno's initiating the press, going ahead of the striker, and we're basically left with the 2 in midfield, 2.5, because Zirkzee's dropping back to try and fill the role. But Xerxes, that's not where Xerxes belongs. Xerxes the striker. Leave Xerxes up top. Let Bruno drop deeper. But the manager has to get that across. The manager is letting Bruno run around and do whatever the fuck he wants. That's on the manager. So Ray's saying we can't push the fullbacks high up against the Liverpool team. But this is what I'm saying. He tried to play like how Liverpool played. And we are not used to playing that. I mean, he's struggled to implement that in his first 2 seasons. Before his first 2 seasons, we have played nothing like that at all. Everything is counterattack. Their mentality is still counterattack. They probably still play their best performances if we set up in a counterattack. The problem is, we don't want to watch our team sit back and play counterattack. We want them to play Manchester United football, which is attacking, risk-taking, and good. But he tried to play in that way, and we got absolutely battered and embarrassed and exposed. And that is the problem. Now, to be fair, if he set up to play counterattack and sit back and soak up the pressure like he's done on numerous occasions when we've played a Liverpool, an Arsenal, a Manchester City, people would be bitching and moaning that he set up the team to play defensive. We've seceded possession and we were sitting back. But, it's like a lose-lose for him because he's trying to do it one way and it's not working. And if he did it the other way and he didn't get the result, which probably, based on the performance we played today and what the players showed us, we probably wouldn't have gotten the result either way we set up, but maybe we wouldn't have conceded 3. People would be bitching and moaning that, he set us up defensively, and, it was embarrassing to sit back and at Old Trafford and play the way we played. I mean, either way, it was an embarrassment. So we're kind of at a loss here, which is why I'm saying we have serious issues. We have serious problems. So Lion saying it's not just Cass, the team looked lost. No, the team was absolutely lost, Lion. The whole team was lost. Rashford had a one-on-one and he decides to go backwards. What's going on there? I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's just the team was lost. The team was lost. The game plan was lost. And the execution was piss poor. Nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. The game plan was wrong. The tactics were wrong. Players' decisions on the pitch was wrong. Players making egregious mistakes. And I should have been more aware to this. I got a little bit lost because I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt to the squad, beginning of the season. And I'm saying, third match in, we got one good result, one bad result. I mean, I probably should have seen it from the Brighton result, but I was hoping that you go play Liverpool at home and you just fucking turn up and play. You play your heart out like we did last season when we played them, right? And you somehow you get some type of a result, a draw, 1-1. Maybe you win. You just outplay in terms of intensity and hard working and being organized and defensively hard to break down. But we didn't set up that way, and we got exposed. And it was the complete opposite of how I was picturing it. I thought we were gonna go out there and just play our hearts out and be annoying to break down, hard to break down, make it hard for them, make it hard for Liverpool to try and score. And we were the complete opposite of that. The complete opposite of that. Richard saying he thinks at Old Trafford we could play a 4-4-2. Diamond. Lion saying our strikers should start the press and the others should follow. The problem is I don't think Xerxes can press. I don't think Xerxes is very good at pressing. I think in the terms of today, I would have liked to see Rasmus Højlund on the pitch. I think Rasmus Højlund gives a little bit more in terms of the press. I don't think Xerxes is very good at initiating the press, which is an issue. Even at times during the match, I was thinking Xerxes is struggling a little bit, especially in the beginning. There was times where he was getting caught in the ball. He was too slow. But there was a lot of players like that just too slow. I mean, the ball is coming to you. There was times where the ball is coming to them and they're standing fucking still. You cannot stand still when you're playing. I don't understand how the players on the pitch didn't recognize 15 minutes in that the ball is coming to me. There is a guy coming. There is a guy, you have to be switched on mentally. You should know because they did it to you 10 times already. The ball is coming to your feet. You should be switched on knowing that there is a Liverpool player up your ass that is coming to take the ball. You should be going to meet the ball, not standing there waiting for the ball to come to you. We're not playing fucking Norwich. We're not playing Fulham. This is Liverpool. They're high intensity, high pressing. They're masters at this. They should already know, and they were slow to react to that. And then there was periods where players are just not quick enough with the ball when they're getting the ball. I mean, I just don't, there's no chemistry for 4-4-2. I mean, I don't even think it's necessarily the shape of I don't think it's necessarily the formation itself. I think it was just more of the game plan. The game plan, we played too open, we played too high and we were just too sloppy. We needed to be compact. We are not there yet. It's too early in the season. We're struggling to figure out how to play this system against a team that is already used to playing the way that they're playing. Nothing has really changed for them. And if anything, they probably have a more kick up their ass because they have a new manager and they are in the honeymoon period with the new manager who has basically the same philosophy and style as Jurgen Klopp. And they're ready to go. And we're trying to find our feet. We're stumbling all over the place. And we needed to be compact today. We needed to be compact and organized. That had to be the game plan. And instead, we tried to play this high press, up the pitch, invert the right back and left back. You know, try to be ambitious, but we were lost. We were lost. We didn't know what to do, and our players panicked, and our players shit themselves, and we got embarrassed. That's what it is for me. But this is what I'm saying, Axe. He played on the counter-attack. Y'all shitted on him. Now he plays possession-based with the proper CDM. And he says, what the fuck do you want, people? But this is what I'm saying. This is what people are going to be saying. If he lined up, I would have been okay with it. In today's match, when you play a Fulham, when you play a Southampton, when you play a Brentford, those teams we should be playing possession high on the midfield line. We should be playing in that manner because we should be controlling those matches. In a match like today, I don't think from the first two matches you look at it, I don't think we were ready to play in this manner. So, and we got exposed for it. We got exposed for it. I think there's times that you have to pick and choose. We're obviously not ready yet. We still have to build on shit. And I think today was the wrong decision to try and play in that way. Because there's times that we've played Liverpool, and we've played Arsenal, and we've played Manchester City, and we have sat back, soaked up the pressure, and hit on the counter-attack. And we're more effective in that way than trying to play toe-to-toe. But it's obvious, because we got exposed and embarrassed today. Richard saying that he would have Xerxes and Rasmus up front and Ahmad and Garnacho on the wings, with Bruno as an attacking midfielder. Well, that's another thing. You know, in terms of selection, I was happy that he put in De Ligt. I think De Ligt and Martinez, they did all right. I think the disappointing part was Martinez was a bit poor. So, you know, it is what it is. But really, the two goals came from Casemiro and the rest of the team. I mean, that one decision by Casemiro to just kick the fucking ball like it was a hot potato, like the ball was on fire, to just give Liverpool basically a free breakaway in our own half. I mean, you can never do that in the system that you're trying to play and the style you're trying to play. But at the same time, Diallo, player of the month. I think he's probably been one of, if not our best player so far in the start of the season. I don't understand why Amad Diallo has to get dropped for Alejandro Garnacho, and Alejandro Garnacho has to play on the right. Because Garnacho, while he can play on the right, Garnacho is way better on the left. He's way more comfortable on the left. He prefers on the left. And he's just more confident on the left. And we're accommodating the team for a fucking Marcus Rashford that hasn't played well in 8 months. In over 8 months. It's time for Marcus Rashford to go to the bench. And this is the problem this is one of the problems that I have with this right now. Because, again, Garnacho should be starting that match and playing on the left, and Diallo should be starting that match and playing on the right. Why? I need this answer. This question needs to be answered. Somebody has to ask the manager why Marcus Rashford is being continued to start matches and being picked over these two kids when a player like Anthony, who Erik Ten Hag, it was his player, he bought him, they spent 80 million on him, he's been a disaster, and he's frozen him out. He has frozen Anthony out because Anthony has been shit. So why is Marcus Rashford still being picked? It's one of the things I cannot wrap my fucking head around. I don't understand it. I don't understand. The player that is Erik Ten Hag's player, he has frozen him out for who knows what reason, numerous amount of reasons. Poor performances, probably his reactions to being subbed off or whatever, or not being picked, maybe the way he's training. I don't, but he's frozen him out. He's barely played a fucking, he didn't even play today. He played 5 minutes last game, and the game before that he didn't play at all either. So why is the same accountability not taken against Marcus Rashford? Because he's been piss poor for over 8 months. And Diallo and Garnacho have been better than him. So that cannot continue. Because we've seen this story before with other managers where they've played their favorites or they've shown preferential treatment to certain players over other players, and they have lost their fucking job over it. And if Erik Ten Hag continues to do this, he's going to lose his job. And that's one of the reasons why. Because you just can't. The favoritism has to fucking go. It has to go. It has to go. Axe saying the team is lost because when they get the ball, their options are so limited due to lack of pace. They get surrounded very quickly. I don't know if it's due to a lack of pace per se. Maybe in certain aspects, absolutely, Axe, but I think just a lot of it is just positioning. I think a lot of it is just player intelligence. I don't think that they set themselves up in the correct positions. I don't think they're reading the game properly when they're on the pitch. I think there's a lack of intelligence there in terms of, you know, my like, for example, like Martinez has the ball. When I'm on the pitch and I'm in front of Martinez, you need to be aware of Martinez is fucked right now. He's getting closed down from this angle. He needs an outlet. I need to get my ass into this space. I need to fucking move here or move there to provide an outlet because he's screwed. He's going to get pressed and he's going to lose the ball. But they're not doing that. From what I've seen, they're getting the ball. There was multiple times a United player gets the ball, they look up, and it was like they were staring into the fucking abyss of space. Like there was just nothing there. And they were like, you know, what the fuck do I do? What do I do? I want to see the camera angle from when they pick up the ball, looking this way down the pitch. Because I guarantee you, this guy's marked, he's marked, and there's no option. Then there's a huge gap in the midfield for who knows what fucking reason. And it's just it's like the Bermuda Triangle. It's like no man's land. Lion asking for Varane right now. I mean, I would take Varane too. Jesus. Axe saying they had to show attitude at home. Playing compact at home would have been weird. Erik, they need to work towards imposing a playing style. They were surely not ready for that. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. I listen. At this point, because we lost 3-0 and embarrassed, if we played compact, and I know it would have been weird, and I know they had to show attitude, but we got our ass handed to us because of it. And I think if you do it for one match against Liverpool, and it helps you pull out a fucking result, you do it. You go into the next match after the international break, and you continue to, like you said, impose a playing style in matches that we have a little bit more of an even hand. Because obviously, Liverpool are above us in terms of just everything. So I think it was a hard match to try and continue to impose the playing style. 3 matches in, we were struggling already a little bit. We struggled against Fulham. We dropped points against Brighton. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, you know, I think you have to be well aware. You have to be aware and you have to be honest and just say that Liverpool they're faster, they're quicker, they have better players than us, their system is better than us. I understand we're home and we need to try and show some identity, some attitude, some, you know, fight, but you have to be smart and be like, listen, if we get exposed, if we don't do our jobs, and you have to give them credit and say they are good, they are very good, and they're better than us. we're going to get our ass handed to us. So we need to go and play in this way. So I think Erik Ten Hag, I think he got it wrong, unfortunately. And, it's a difficult spot because I get what you're saying, Axe. People would have bitched and moaned, and maybe I would have bitched and moaned as well, that we would have played compact and sat back. But I think if we did that, we wouldn't have lost 3-0 and in the manner that we lost. Maybe we still would have lost the match, but it wouldn't have been in the way we lost. Absolutely not. Because there's losing, and then there's a way to lose. And we lost horribly. And embarrassingly. Rashford is being picked for the same reason Martial was never sold. Hoping it will just click. Well, if he's doing that, then he's fucking delusional, because it's not gonna happen. I mean, you're asking for fucking miracles. I'm at the point where I think something more sinister is going on. I don't know if it's something in that fucking contract they gave him that he has to play, or something like that, or we're paying some type of money. Because listen, Richard Arnold and co. was still in charge when they gave that contract extension. Who knows what the fuck is in that contract? What if it's like, if he doesn't start or he doesn't play a certain amount of minutes, we have to pay a ridiculous amount of money to Marcus Rashford? I have no clue. But it just seems something like that, because it's starting to really not make any fucking sense. And he played the full 90 minutes. On top of that, he played the full 90 minutes. So it's just weird. It's the fact that it's like you took off Diallo to start Garnacho so you could keep on Rashford, and while Garnacho wasn't great, but I think Garnacho was suffering from playing on the right because he's more comfortable on the left. So it's weird. Smash the like button, people, please. We're going to do player ratings. I'm getting carried away with the rants. Player ratings aren't going to be great. They're not going to be great. I'm going to get into it now, though. So let's get into it. If you can, please smash. Hey, do reactions help the video? I don't know. I don't know why we've been struggling kind of with the numbers on the match reactions. I don't know what's going on, because we've been doing very well with the news. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's all right. So Andre Onana, I'm giving him a 4. Conceded 3, not really his fault, per se, but I think he could have done way better job on trying to save the goals. I think at least 1 or 2 of them, I think he could have probably saved them. I think he was late on his diving. I don't think he was ready. But again, we did him no favors in the manner of which we lost the ball and the defensive line, I guess, because, when we lost the ball, we were so exposed that it was just like, when you seen us lose the ball, you knew like the goal was coming, like it was like an 80% chance the goal was coming, 90% chance, because you just can't lose the ball in that position with the way we were positioned on the pitch as well. So yeah, I think on at least 2 of them, I'm trying to remember all 3. But yeah, I'm just, my head's all over the place. So, but I know for a fact at least 2 of them, when diving, I think he could have got it, but he was late on the diving, and he could have done better. So, but Mazawari, I'm gonna give him a 5. Nobody's getting a great score because we lost 3-0. I'm gonna give him a 5. I think he did all right in moments. I think in terms of positioning, not being there, I don't think that's like necessarily his fault, because I think those are the tactics, and he was just trying to do his job. There was 1 or 2 moments where, he made a couple of mistakes or whatever, or it wasn't good. It was sloppy. But in terms of some other players on the pitch, I think he was probably one of the better ones. Matthijs de Ligt, I would give him a 5.5. Maybe a 6. It's hard to give him a 6 because we did concede 3, and while I don't blame him for the 3 per se, because again, they came from the midfield losing the ball. I think in the first half, he had some very important tackles. He was very, very solid. There was one or two or three tackles he made that if he didn't make those tackles, it's a goal scoring. It's either a goal or a goal scoring, like a high quality goal scoring opportunity. I thought he was very solid in that regard. And then obviously he was subbed off. I know a lot of people were complaining that he was subbed off. I don't know why he was per se subbed off. I don't know if it was because he was on a yellow. I don't think so. I think it's more of a fitness thing. We were down 3-0, and there wasn't really much that we were gonna do from that point anyway. So I'm not too fussed about him being subbed off. Um, and Maguire coming on, but that's, 3 matches in a row. Because Delit has come on in the 60th, so he's played about 30, and then today he played about double the time. So I don't know if that's a fitness thing, or what. Lisandro, for me, he's getting a 5. I thought Lisandro was pretty poor today. He still did some defensive duties, but he was poor with the passing decisions. He made quite some big mistakes that could have led to goals. They didn't lead to goals, but they led to opportunities to Liverpool. Um, Although I do want to say that while he did make the bad pass and the poor decision, he wasn't being helped because, again, like I stated multiple times, uh, they were getting the ball looking up, and there was no fucking options. So, again, for me, the midfield was the biggest problem today. And just the game plan, the midfield and the game plan, I think led to everything else being a complete disaster. Diego Delo, I give him a 5. Um, he did all right coming down the wing. I think he put in like one or two good crosses if I remember correctly. But I can't remember. It's the same as Mazzarari pretty much. Doing his job, trying to invert. It was part of the game plan. We were getting caught out. I was listening to Arnie Slot after the match, and he said he knew that that's how we play. That was one of his analyzes that we do push the left back and right back very high up and into the center. And he purposely left Salah and Luis Diaz up high, hoping that we would make mistakes, which we did, and then they punished us because as soon as we lost the ball in an area that we cannot afford to lose the ball, um, it was 3-4, 4v2, 4v2, 3v2 every single time. So, you know, um, yeah, Casemiro, fucking 1, 2. I mean, was god awful. Was absolutely awful. Directly responsible for 2 goals. If I was the manager, he wouldn't have even made it to halftime. Wouldn't even have made it to halftime. I would have subbed him off after the second fucking mistake. So just I don't even want to speak because I'm gonna get in trouble with the words I'm gonna say about him. Kobe Mano, I give him a 5. I think Kobe struggled today, just like everybody else. Um, and he lost the ball on that one goal. I knew it was coming. I knew he was gonna get caught out when he received that ball. Uh, but I can't be so harsh on him in terms of that because again, he is a 19-year-old, and I believe that he is doing the job of 2 players, which is just absolutely insane, especially in a match where you're playing against a team like Liverpool. It's never gonna work. You're never gonna get away with it. So yeah. He's not one of his better performances, but obviously the whole team was piss poor. Bruno Fernandez, I give him a 4. Uh, just didn't do what he needed to do. Made a couple poor passes, a couple poor decisions. Um, wasn't visible at times. And he's the captain of Manchester United, so 4. Positioning wasn't great either. I think he was a little bit all over the place again. I kind of put that down to the tactics as well, but sometimes you need to adjust yourself, and you're the captain, so you are the on-field manager essentially. So you should have the self-awareness that the midfield is getting fucked, and maybe I should start dropping a little bit deeper or something. Garnacho, he wasn't great. He struggled as well. I give him maybe a 4.5 or a 5. I think there was a couple moments where he did good with the dribble, but he held on the ball too long. He tried to do a little bit too much, and he lost possession in the key areas of the attacking aspect of the pitch. So, and it just wasn't a good performance from Garnacho today. Marcus Rashford, I would give him a 4, maybe a 3, 3.5. I think that he put in those, and everybody keeps talking about these two crosses that he put into the box. They were very excellent, but that doesn't make up for the other 90 minutes of the match. That's 30 seconds combined worth of gameplay. um, there was a point, I think it was Lions, mentioned it before, where he said, you know, uh, instead of running down the line, he decided to turn around and he ran backwards, and he literally ran like halfway backwards and ran into the midfield, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And this is what I mentioned before about Marcus Rashford. It's just like he is lacking the confidence, and he's not playing well. And I think he absolutely needs to be dropped. He should not continue. He's not enjoying his time on the pitch. He's struggling, and he needs to be removed. He needs to be removed, and he needs to figure it out. And he needs to take the path of working his way back into the team. Xerxes, for me, I give him a 4.5. He had two big chances. He didn't score them. He had to score at least one, in my opinion. There was periods in early on in the match. He was slow to react. He was losing the ball. It just wasn't a good display. But again, it's I don't want it to seem like I'm picking on people, because the whole display as a team was a fucking disaster anyway. So nobody's really scoring high. I'm gonna be fair to Harry Maguire for the time that he came on. No more goals were conceded. Obviously, I think Liverpool took their foot off the gas. So there is what it is, but I'm gonna give Maguire a 6, because I think he did all right. He did all right when he came on. He only played like 20 something minutes or whatever it was. He had an important tackle at some point too. Where he went to ground, and Liverpool were breaking. He stopped that attack. And yeah, I think for the 20 minutes he came on, I think he did good, and he only played 20 minutes. So Toby Collier, I think even for him, not trying to be too harsh, because I think it was always a big ask for him to come in, but I will have to give him a 5.5. I think he struggled to meet the pace. I think he struggled to get into the game. I don't really think it's per se his fault. Um, you know, he had one moment in going forward, where he looked like he set up a good play. It didn't work out to that, but yeah, he struggled to meet the pace of the game. And it's not really his fault, because he's 20. He's 20, but he's not ready. He's not ready, and he wasn't ready for a match like that, for when the team is performing like that. It was just it's a big ask. It's difficult for that. That shouldn't be his responsibility. In a match, in the manner that we were playing, and the manner that we were getting ripped apart, a 20-year-old who is still trying to break into the team should not be the fucking substitute for a Casemiro, who is an experienced player that won all these things, and absolutely just pissed himself and played the way he did. There should be an experienced player coming off the bench, and a very high quality player. So yeah, I can't go too hard on him. I feel sorry for the kid, to be honest. I really do. Because that was rough to watch. It was rough to watch him in there. Christian Eriksen, what do you play? Like 5 minutes? I mean, what the fuck? You gonna give him a 6? And Diallo, I give Diallo a 6. And Erik Ten Hag, I give Erik Ten Hag a 2 because I think Erik Ten Hag got it completely wrong today. I think he got it wrong. I'm not happy with the Marcus Rashford thing. I think the game plan and the tactics were wrong. And my man of the match is gonna be Amad Diallo because I think he had the biggest impact. Come when he came on, I think he was, and that's how bad we were. That's how bad we were. That a player that came on at what minute? At what minute did he come on? Um, a player that came on in the 69th minute of the match had probably the best performance on our team. And that just tells you how shit we were. So, um, let's see. All right, I'm catching up with the chat because I had the player ratings are on I had to switch screens. So Lion saying honestly the real problem I believe is that there's no depth to the team. There's no utility players like Fletcher's or O'Shea's or Parks. I mean depth is a big problem and we're suffering already from really it's a lack of quality of depth because we do per se have the players to sub in other than maybe one or two positions. I mean, we do have Christian Eriksen to sub in and Collier to sub in, but the quality, the drop off is not there. Um, even in the wingers, I mean, Marcus Rashford isn't playing great. Anthony's been shit. And so we really only have, at times it seems like it's like we only have one player for each position, which is a fucking problem because we're not going to survive in that way. You are not going to survive a season having basically only one player in one position. And in a lot of the positions right now, that's where we're at. I mean, Xerxes, the only striker we got. Rasmus is injured. The wings, Rashford is struggling. So really, when you look at it, it's we got Diallo and Garnacho. Diallo and Garnacho, they're somehow for whatever reason competing with each other. Anthony's not being used at all. And then we have Casemiro. Without Casemiro, there's nobody because Ugarte isn't ready. Then there's Kobe Mainu. Well, you take off Kobe Mainu, who you putting on? There's nobody. Yeah, I mean you could put on Christian Eriksen, but he's not gonna be better than anybody that's on the pitch starting. Then there's Bruno, and we should have Mason Mount, but Mason Mount is injured, so there's nobody that you could put in for Bruno as well. And we have two left backs injured, so our right back is playing left back. We have Mazawari, and we have Delo playing right back and left back. There's no substitute for the right back. There's no substitute for the left back. You can take Martinez and put him left back, which I don't really like, but you could do that. And then you have to put in Harry Maguire or Johnny Evans. But then, I don't know, DeLit hasn't been able to play a full match yet, so you got to sub DeLit out. So then you might end up with Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans. I mean, we're already when you put it in that perspective, it just sounds like a total loss, total disaster for me. But I don't know how we're in this position already. Because we should have Lenny Euro, but he's unavailable. Ugarte obviously isn't there yet. And we have Xerxes, Maserati, and Delit. I think we're a little bit in trouble. We are. So I lost the entire chat. Do you still rate this transfer season as an 8? I think in terms of what they did, yeah. But the problem is the situation Manchester United has found themselves in. I think we needed more. I think we need more. I think it's almost impossible for them to do more though. With the financial situation and the shit that they've taken over from, um, we needed more. But I think for what they did for what we can do, I think they did. I think they did an 8. But we needed more. We needed more because we're seeing that we're gonna be in trouble. Um, honestly, okay, this one we had a lot. Scott we got rid of. Well, that's one of the problems is that like we did get rid of Scott, but we needed to get rid of Scott to get in Ugarte because we have money problems. But my thing is that they should have identified that okay, money. I get the money problems, and I get you have to move Scott, and Scott is Bruno's position anyway. Scott, his spot is a cam. He was a sort of utility, but he ain't great at the box to box, and he ain't great at the DM. The point is that if you're gonna get rid of McTominay to get Ugarte, because we need Ugarte, we need the center defensive mid. But they should have known that like we still need another center mid. So you have to go do a deal for somebody if it's on a free or a fucking loan. You had to go get somebody in. I don't understand why they didn't do that. I don't understand why that wasn't identified as a problem. Richard saying 3 for Onana. Lyle saying Onana, man, I feel he needs to be more aware of his surroundings. Diaz header, honestly, De Gea would have saved that, and I think that's fair. I think his shot saving ability is hot and cold. Sometimes he pulls out these like very very good saves, world class saves, and other times he's slow to react. And you look at some of the goals that we concede, and I think like Lyle said, you would say if De Gea was in the net, he would have saved those. And obviously he's not De Gea at shot stopping, so um, well, yeah, for sure. Lion saying again, I think Onana is too big. He might be. He might be. Um, but that's another fucking issue. I think you know. Maz was decent. He done okay. Maz and the lit as did the low. Yeah, I think they did okay. It's just hard to give them above a 6 when we lose. You know what I mean? When we lose 3-0 in that manner at home. So that's why they got a little bit of the higher scores, which would be a 5.5. Um Axe saying cast 3. I mean, I I wanted to give Casemiro 0. So you know Lion saying at 19-year-old is the leader of the team. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the problem. There was periods in that time where, um, you know, he was one of the only players on the pitch that wanted it. He was one of the only players on the pitch that wanted it. So, you know, I don't, I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Actually, um, shit. And I just gotta fix something. And I get back to the chat. So, let's see. We need a miracle. We need a good CDM. At this point, I would call Rabio's mother. Yeah, for sure. We should have kept the Amrabat. We couldn't have kept the Amrabat because, I mean, well, we could have. We could have paid the money and then probably just figured it out in a different way. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. If we didn't keep Amrabat, they had to go sign somebody. They had to go, whether it's a free. If you're gonna tell me we don't have the funds, then you have to go and get somebody on a free or something or on a loan. The problem with Amrabat is that they didn't want to loan him back to us. They wanted us to pay. So at that point, if you're gonna make the decision of, well, we can't pay or we don't want to pay because we need to use the funds for these other players that we think are more important, then you have to go get somebody on a free or find somebody else that's on a loan. Somebody, anybody. Um, And then Lion saying we actually need to look at the academy coaches and figure out why we're not getting the talent out. 2 or 3 isn't good enough. Well, we've had that problem for a little bit. I think now we're starting to get it a little bit, but yeah, there was I think they're already looking at that though, because INEOS have made it a point to they want the youth to come through and they want to promote the youth. So Man of the match was Gravenberch or something. I mean, man of the match for like, I mean, that's the Liverpool man of the match. The United man of the match. United player man of the match. Um, total man of the match probably Luis Diaz. Um, Probably Luis Diaz or Salah. Um, Garnacho on the left, Ahmed on the right. What more do you need? The Rashford thing, man. Jeez. I mean, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. At least people can't shit on McTominay for this. I mean, yeah, now we get the shit on Casemiro, but it is his fault. He messed it up. Casemiro proved his worth today, getting sub for Collier really sealed his fate. Ugarte ahead of him now. I mean, pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Ray's leaving. He's got to go. We'll see you later, Ray. Um, I'm talking about Windows since INEOS. I think they need 4. I think 2 to 3. They could do it. If they do another 2, if they do 2 more windows, like the window we just had, I think we'll be fine. But Erik Ten Hag's not going to survive that. There's no way. There's no, if we continue the way we're going, he's not gonna be here for the next 2 windows. So, um, I would keep Erik Ten Hag for 5 years. I mean, 2 more at this point. Well, that's the whole problem. So, Erik Ten Hag has his own separate issues that he's gonna have to figure out. So, I don't, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Let's take a look at the. I mean, the internet was pissing me off. But I know Erik Ten Hag made some quotes. There were some things that I surely 110% disagreed with. Um, there's a lot of controversy being. So here's this clip of Oni Slot, but he was breaking down what he did. So Ten Hag asked if the performances are coaching issues and not down to players, and he responded by saying, "I'm sorry for you. After City, we won the most trophies. I'm sorry for you." He's not lying, but generally wish he doesn't say these things. Yeah, I mean he's just so. Lid, I think, had a good performance. We're just in big trouble. See, on his slot said last season United were man marking on the midfield. This season they are on a 9 and 10 press with the 4-4-2. In my opinion, they're working harder when the ball is played through them, so they run more. That is what I saw in the first games from them. I mean, I think he got the analysis completely right, and he just fucking, I think he just tactically outclassed um Erik Ten Hag, and I think Erik Ten Hag got exposed today in terms of his setup for the match, and he didn't adjust um at all. And he was limited in options anyway because of the problems that we have right now. So no, there's no excuses. There's no excuses. So Ten Hag was asked something about Ugarte, and Ten Hag said that he's not Harry Potter, which is the actual quote. He said, "I'm not Harry Potter." Which I wish he was fucking Harry Potter, because maybe he could have done a spell to move the ball fucking into Liverpool's goal or something, or stopped it from going in ours. But then he went on to say Manuel Ugarte hasn't played in the season so far. He needs to build his fitness. He said it will take weeks, maybe months. I mean, that's a fucking crazy statement. Months to build this fitness. We don't have months. You don't have months. We don't have months. You don't have months. Months, you might be out of a job. By November, December. If it goes really bad. Depends how it goes. Ten Hag about being booed by United fans for taking off Garnacho and not Marcus Rashford. And he said, first of all, he created 2 big chances for Xerxes, and that is what we have to acknowledge. Second, it was Garnacho's and Xerxes' first start, and he can play as a center forward. I mean, but that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that we are all in agreement. Probably 98% of the fan base is in agreement that Marcus Rashford should not be starting matches anymore, and Garnacho and Diallo should not be suffering because you're accommodating a player who has been poor for over 8 months now. He's had more than enough chances. He created 2 big chances, but creating 2 big chances in a 90-minute display is not fucking enough. It is not enough. And I'm sure if you let Garnacho play on the left and you let Diallo play on the right and start them, I'm sure they can each create 2 big chances in the match themselves. So, creating 2 big matches is not, there's no excuse. Too many individual mistakes, which is something that's one of the things I don't understand. One of the things I don't understand. The individual mistakes should not be happening anymore. Erik Ten Hag should have figured this out already. So I don't understand why they're still happening. Lyle saying this is Erik Ten Hag's make or break season. It is. I think he will see out the season because INEOS would look at the Europa League campaign and judge him on that. Listen, it depends what happens going forward. I mean, if we're in fucking 8th place in November and we're struggling in Europa League and we're not getting the results, they might just sack him. They might just sack. It's all about results. It's all about results. So, Ten Hag press conferences are always bullshit. They are, and I'm used to it already. But I just wish, like, in a moment like today, like, just read the room a little bit better and don't make these stupid comments like that you've been making because they're just pissing off the fans. We just need a spell of good results. I'm judging on the Europa League as well. We need that trophy. We need results. We need results. He needs results if he's gonna last. Otherwise, he'll be gone. Axe saying being given our available players for this match in Liverpool squad, it was really easy for Erik Ten Hag to be outclassed. Yeah, I think in the way he set us up to play, absolutely. Because we don't have options. For if shit goes wrong or we're not playing in the manner that we need to play. And I think he was absolutely outclassed for that reason. So, yeah, I don't know. Technically, United have been found out and they can't seem to be able to adjust. Well, that also comes from the manager, but it also comes with the lack of options that we have. There's not too many. I mean, you look at that bench today. Where's the game changer? Where's the game changer on the bench? We don't have. There's nobody that we could have put on to improve the match. There was nobody. We put on a fucking 20-year-old that's not ready. And it didn't help. It didn't help. If anything, it made it probably a little bit worse because we started playing with like 2 6s. And Collier was actually pushing up a little bit more forward, and Mainu was the one that was dropping a little bit deeper. But that's not Mainu's game. Mainu is not a CDM. Mainu don't got the he don't really got the strength for that. And he did lose the ball on that one occasion, which led to a goal. So, you know, um, we lost Neves and bought his substitute. But I don't know about that. I think Ugarte is a good player. I know Ugarte and Neves are a little bit different. I think in all reality, which this would never happen because we wouldn't be able to pull it off financially as of right now. But in reality, we actually needed Ugarte and we needed Neves. We needed both of them, not one or the other. We didn't need Neves and not Ugarte, and we didn't need Ugarte and not Neves. We needed both. We needed both because I think both what they both offer. We needed two players. We needed Ugarte and we needed Neves, and if not a Neves, somebody like Neves. Because Neves is not strictly just a CDM. It's kind of an all-arounder. Um, we needed both, and we only got one. Is the issue that I'm trying to say. Oh, yeah, Onana from Everton, somebody like that, something. We needed another one, and we didn't get it. So I don't know if they can still make a signing, but if I'm fucking Jason Wilcox or Sir Jim Ratcliffe or whoever, I'm fucking making a phone call tonight to try and sign another midfielder. You know, a free agent or I don't even think you could do a loan at this point, but um. Richard saying yes, as far as OT goes, I don't think Erik Ten Hag reads the room well. Well, some of his statements today, I mean, I think based on the performance, based on the fact that the fans were, booed at the decision to fucking sub off Garnacho and leave Rashford on the pitch, um, I think he needed to read it a little bit more, read the room a little bit more in terms of the fact that, it was a shit performance. We were a disaster. We were all over the place. Um, and some of the things he said is just annoying to fucking hear because at least for me, I really just want him to I just want him to come out and say that we were basically shit. I all the only statement that in my mind that he needed to make was come out and say that we were shit, it was not good enough, apologize to the fans, and basically say that this is fucking unacceptable and this will not happen, and just leave it at that and walk away. All this extra shit that he says and whatever, and trying to defend the players in this situation, it it's annoying. It's annoying. Rashford needs the Sancho treatment, not the bad. I mean the 3 months off. The guy needs to get his head straight. No, he needs to go to the bench. He's had enough time to get his head straight. He wasn't involved in the Euros. I don't know what the fuck he was doing in the off season. He had enough time. The problem is that he keeps getting picked. He needs to be put in the background. He needs to be put in the background. I mean, there was a moment where Sky Sports, the fucking camera was following him around for a good 10 minutes, just showing him. He needs to be put in the background. He needs to be put on the bench. And he needs to take his opportunities from there. And I don't know. And if he can't like get if he can't get like a kick up his ass or try and like, do something to try and regain his form, then he's a lost cause and we gotta cut our ties. Um, and I'm not against Rashford. I'm a Rashford fan too, Lion, but I'm just calling it how I see it. I have nothing against Marcus Rashford. I have nothing against any of our players on a personal level. It's everything I say is solely just based on performances and what you are providing for Manchester United. And sometimes, the truth or the facts are ugly, but I can't sit here and protect people when we have it's Manchester United. I can't sit here and protect a player when the club is suffering. So it is what it is. I might call players out and I might go in on them to a certain extent, but it's never a personal thing. It's just solely based on what they are doing for the club. Um How long do we have to sign a free agent for them to be able to play in Europe? Free agents can be signed anytime during the season. But there's a deadline. Yeah, there's a deadline to include them in the squad. I think it might be soon. I think it's before we play for Europe. I think there's a deadline sometime before the actual match. It might be like the week before, a couple days before. I'm not sure. There's a cutoff. You wait for registration a couple of weeks or so after the transfer window closes. So essentially, you would use that as your free agent deadline. Yeah, something like that. There's some type of deadline, but I don't know. I mean, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it because there's literally no talk of it happening. I don't think they're fucking looking to do it. I don't know why they're not looking to do it. I think they should be looking to do it. Absolutely. Um, I don't know why that issue hasn't been identified. I think it's a major issue. I think fucking Helen Keller could see that issue. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why they haven't identified that issue. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So um sorry, I just gotta update something. Mm. Um yeah, I think we're gonna end it here. Cause I got something I gotta do actually anyway. So it's been a good show. Um the show has definitely been better than the fucking performance we put in today. Try to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I know it's absolutely ruined. It's ruined for me. It's gonna be ruined till we come back and play a match and get 3 points. We have the international break, so we'll be doing some topical stuff in that time. Probably just some news, some updates in the meantime till we end up playing our next match. Um, but other than that, yeah. Kind of just want to move on from this. I'm tired of talking about it, and there's nothing more I can really say. I think we've covered and discussed everything. So yeah. Richard saying Marcus is a great human being. However, I do not support a club since 1966. I supported. I have supported a club. They need to be signed for registration by September the 8th. So there's still some time. Go sign anyone. No, for real though. They have to. They have to go. They have to go sign. It's just a game, right? Yeah, it's not though. Not when you play Liverpool. Not when you play Liverpool. If there's one fucking match you don't lose, it's Manchester United versus Liverpool, and you're at Old Trafford. So you could literally go one win and 33 losses. You don't lose the Liverpool fucking match. Not at Old Trafford. So it is what it is. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Good discussion. Richard, it's good to have you back. Lines, it was good to have you back as well. Lyle, Axe, always in here. Always great. Ray was here. Grace was here for a little bit. I don't know if she's still here. But yeah. Thank you. Rajat was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but shout out Rajat. SK was in here. Shout out SK as well. I'll see you guys later. Um I don't think we'll do one tomorrow, but if we don't do one tomorrow, then we'll do one Tuesday for sure. So keep an eye out on that. I might do one tomorrow. We might continue the talk and kind of like a day after um talk. Let a full 24 hours go. Um If not tomorrow though, because I don't know if I'll be feeling it. If not, then definitely we'll do a Tuesday for sure. So I'll see you guys then. Have a good night. Try and stay spirited. Hopefully we figured this shit out. Um, Richard, I like the message. Thanks, guys. Stay safe. Love you all. Including Grace. Nah, it was a misunderstanding. It was a misunderstanding last time. We'll put it in the past. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. It's nothing to be. It's nothing to be mad about. We're all one big family here. So thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you. Love you all. Be good. Take care of yourselves. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I'll catch you guys later. All right. Be good.